Hello guys, hoy vamos a hacer una práctica de listening en inglés. And this time we're going to talk about motivation, o sea, cómo mantenernos motivados para seguir aprendiendo inglés. Vamos a comprobar tu nivel de inglés. Cuéntame abajo en los comentarios si me consigues entender y quédate hasta el final. Guys, I've been teaching English for over 8 years, and you want to know something? Even the most dedicated students sometimes lose motivation. It's totally normal because learning a language is a long process. Trust me, I've also learned Spanish and Portuguese. I'm not a native Spanish speaker, I actually had to study it, and I also studied Portuguese. And there were times when I simply didn't want to study. I even tried to learn French and it was a fail. I ended up giving up because my motivation wasn't right. So trust me when I say I get you. I felt that frustration too in learning languages, and learning English is a process. Sometimes you feel like a genius, like I totally got this, and other days you feel like a failure, like you should give up. And the truth is that's totally normal. That's why today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 practical tips to stay motivated in your English learning journey. First, you need to set a clear goal. I mean, have a really strong why. Why do you want to learn English? Is it to travel the world? Is it to have better job opportunities? Most of my students come to me because they want to create a better future for themselves. They want better professional opportunities. They want to make more money. And of course, we all know that learning English is a huge part of that. So that's an external motivator for you to learn English, to get better job opportunities and make more money. Is it because you want to travel the world? Is it because you love learning about cultures? Is it for your family? In my case, I wanted to learn Spanish because of my family. I grew up in a Spanish-speaking family, but I didn't speak Spanish. I only understood a little bit. When it came time for me to have conversations with my grandparents, I simply couldn't. They would speak to me in Spanish and I would respond to them in English. There was a lot of communication that we lost along the way, and honestly, years that I couldn't speak with my grandparents simply because I didn't have the skills in Spanish to communicate myself. And it came to a point when I was 18 when I was so tired of not having communication or contact with half of my family simply because of that language barrier that I decided, hey, I think it's time to change this. I know nobody motivated me or supported me really to learn Spanish, but it was something that was an internal motivator. I thought, okay, I want to learn how to speak with my family. So that's why I decided to study in university. And then, so that was the first motivator. The second motivator for me was after a real experience that I had. When I first came to Spain when I was 18, I had some situations where I had already been taking classes, Spanish classes, for 2 years. So I thought, oh, I totally got this. I'm gonna be able to speak to everyone, whatever. And when I got here for the first time, I realized, first of all, European Spanish is not the same as Mexican Spanish. So I was studying and I had more contact with Latino Spanish, so Mexican Spanish, from the region that I lived in. And I came to Spain and I had a really, really hard time understanding people. I realized one day when I went to a cafe and I could not even communicate myself and I couldn't ask for a coffee. I was even frustrating the bartender guy because he was so irritated that I couldn't ask for a coffee properly in Spanish, that I thought that embarrassing moment made me think, okay, it's time for me to improve my Spanish. So after that month and a half, I decided to go back to the US and I was like, yep, this is it. I'm gonna study Spanish, I'm gonna become fluent, and no one's ever gonna laugh at me again. So it was also the reason of I was tired of people making fun of me, like my family making fun of me for being gringa. And then the people here in Spain being like, oh, you don't really speak good Spanish. So it was that side. It was also the internal motivator of I wanted to speak with my family. And then eventually I fell in love with the process of learning Spanish. I loved learning new words. I loved, and this is a big thing too, something that really motivated me was being able to like listen to music in Spanish. And I was able to connect with a whole new part of myself from being able to like listen to bachata and salsa and learning how to dance. It opened up a whole new world for me. So believe me when I say trust in the process. Keep studying and eventually you'll be able to connect with the language in a way that you never have before. Find your why, whether that be for work, whether that be for travel, whether that be for for making new friends, and write it down. Write it down on a piece of paper. Write it down and set it as the wallpaper of your phone. Put it on your mirror, but always have that reminder of why in your mind and of course in your vision, so that you can keep in mind why you're sitting down to study every day. On days where it's really hard and you just don't want to do it, that why will keep you motivated. My second tip for you is to keep a steady schedule. Humans are creatures of habit. So if you sit down every single day at the same time, every day at 5 p.m. or at 6 p.m., at 9 p.m. to study, and you have your clear English routine, it's going to be so much easier for you to keep that study habit up, so that you don't have to think, okay, sometime I have to find 5 minutes or 10 minutes today to study. No, you know that it's every day at 10 a.m. And honestly, guys, that's why having help from a teacher or taking classes really helps, because then you know every Wednesday at 5 p.m. I have my English class. Every Thursday at 9 p.m. is when I do my homework. So it really helps to have that structure. But if right now you don't have the resources or you feel like you don't have the time, then try to set 3 days a week to study 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day. If you can do more, please do more. The more you study, the better. But if you can only do 3 days a week, 15 minutes a day, set the same time every day. Every day at 7 p.m., I'm going to study English. You can also use websites like BBC Learning English. You can use resources from CambridgeEnglish.org. So you can just have an easy study plan for you. You don't have to constantly think about when you sit down to study at 5 p.m. or whatever. You don't have to think, oh, okay, now what do I study? No, it's going to be so much easier for you to get into the mode, into study mode, if you already know what you're going to study that day. Eventually, the goal should be that English feels like a part of your daily routine. Just like you wake up in the morning and brush your teeth, or just like you, I don't know, watch Netflix at lunch every day. It should be part of your routine. I, for example, take time during my lunchtime. I watch a series in Portuguese. That's how I keep my listening fresh, and I still am learning new words. Every day at lunch, I know, okay, it's time to watch my show in Portuguese. So make it a part of your day. And that brings me to my next point. My third tip is to use English in your real life. For example, watch Netflix in English. If you love watching YouTube, watch YouTubers in English. If you love listening to music, okay, now listen to some playlists in English. Those simple daily things that you do, like writing down your shopping list, write your shopping list in English so you're practicing vocabulary. But what you want to do is shift your mind, shift your brain from thinking in Spanish or your native language to thinking in English, so that it becomes a part of your daily life. That's going to help you stop translating so much in your brain. If it's already a part of the way that you think and the way that you move in the world, it's going to be so much more easy for you to think in English instead of translating from your native language to English. This way, English becomes a part of you, not just something that you do, but something that you are. You're an English speaker, so change your chip. Si te está gustando este video, ve a darle like y suscríbete a mi canal. Así puedo seguir creando estas mini clases de inglés para ustedes. Okay, let's continue. And my fourth tip for you is for you to track your progress. And this is so important because sometimes we're studying every day and we feel like we're not improving, or we feel like we're not improving quick enough. But we really are. So record yourself once a month to see how much your English is evolving over time. Compare your notes, compare your test results every month so that you can see how your progress is going. This is something that I do with my students because I want them to understand how much they really are progressing. Every few months we do English evaluations at my academy, and always with a new student we do the first one, and they tell me, oh my gosh, I've been studying, my English is so bad, and I just don't know how to keep improving. So we do the English evaluation, and then I always tell them, look, this is the first English evaluation. This is where you are today. In 4 months, when we have the second evaluation, you're gonna see how much you improve, and you can be so proud of your results. And whenever we come to that second evaluation, they always say, I don't know, I've been studying and I feel better, but I just feel like my English still isn't good. And then we have the second evaluation and I show them the before and after. But look at how much you've actually improved. It's incredible how much you've improved. One of the most recent examples that I have that I'm so proud of is my student Ramni. I'll insert her evaluation here. But we had the first evaluation and she was feeling really insecure and she couldn't answer the questions. And what do you do every day? Can you tell me about your daily routine?
Repeat, please. Wake up 3 a.m. Well, finish my work 30 p.m. I don't know.
And then 4 months later, we came to the second evaluation, and it's incredible her progress. I'll show you now. So tell me about a typical day at work.
I started my work at 6 a.m. I clean my area at 10 a.m. I go my breakfast, and then at 1:30 I go my lunch. I meet my sister because my sister working with me. Finish my work 4:30 p.m.
You can see that after only 4 months, she went from not even sometimes understanding my simple questions and not being able to answer to being able to have a more fluent, a more natural way of speaking and speak in full sentences. And she came to the call feeling a little bit insecure, like, oh, I don't know. I still don't feel so good about my English. And then I showed her, but look at how far you've come in this short period of time. And that was a motivator for her to say, wow, you're right. So if I just keep studying, if I keep trying, my English is going to keep improving. So this is something that you guys can apply in your own study routine. Speak to yourself every month, every 2 months, record yourself speaking and compare it over time. Speaking practice 1, okay, next month. Speaking practice 2, speaking practice 3, so that you can see with time how much you really are improving, because sometimes we don't realize that our English is progressing because we're in it every day. We're studying grammar, we're studying vocabulary. And as I said, it's a process. So you're not going to be speaking like a native speaker in 4 months. It's not realistic. But if you keep track of your progress and see how much you are improving over time, it's going to make you feel like all those times you sit down to study are worth it. My 5th tip for you guys is to find a study buddy. Motivation is contagious. So if you can find a friend, if you can find a classmate or a teacher to study with you and help you stay motivated, it's really powerful. This is something that helped me achieve fluency in Portuguese, because I was going to class at university like, okay, I have to study grammar today, I have to study vocabulary, fine, I'll do it, but you know, I have to, it's not because I want to. And then eventually I found an online teacher who I really loved talking to. We had really fun conversations and I learned a lot about Brazilian culture. And for me, I was looking forward to class every day. I loved the process of talking to him. And eventually he felt like a friend more than a teacher. So my advice to you here is to find someone who helps you stay motivated. You don't have to do it alone. And I work with a team of wonderful, wonderful teachers who would love to support you in the process. So if you feel like you're ready to take that next step in your English, you can sign up for una asesoría gratuita in the description, in the comment section also, if we can help you improve your English. And my next tip for you is to celebrate small wins. For example, are you understanding most of this video? Great job. Were you able to write a full paragraph in English? That's amazing. Celebrate those moments because that's progress. I don't know, if you're able to watch this video, buy yourself an ice cream. Do something to make yourself feel like you are being rewarded for all your effort to improve your English. Sometimes we just need some extra support or an extra reason to keep studying and keep going. Yesterday I had an evaluation with a new student, and after the evaluation I told him, look Juan, you actually have a pretty good level. And he was shocked. He was like, no one has ever told me that I had a good level. I can't believe it. And sometimes all you need is that extra support, those extra words of motivation to know that you're on the right track. So I told him to celebrate that small win. Juan, you have a pretty good level. You did this evaluation totally in English. Good job. You deserve to celebrate that win. And this is a general study tip that has always worked for me. Change your environment. And what I mean by that is if you have a really hard time studying at home because there's a lot of distractions, or because at home you want to relax, then do something different. Maybe study in a different room, go to the park and study, go to a cafe and study. So what you want to make sure is that you're associating the place where you study with studying English, right? For example, when I'm on my couch, I watch Netflix. So I'm never going to study on my couch because I associate my couch with Netflix. I study languages at my desk. Even though it's my room, I have a little desk in the corner, and that's where I study and work. So I associate that space with study and work. I would never go to my work desk to watch Netflix because I would be in work study mode. So you want to associate different places in your house, or maybe different places like a park or a cafe, to studying English so that you can keep your focus. My next tip for you is to learn with content that you actually enjoy. For example, do you love cooking? Okay, then watch recipes in English, write down the ingredients in English. Something that really helped me learn Spanish and Portuguese is creating playlists. I love creating playlists depending on the vibe of my day. And so I have like a soul and R&B playlist. I have a bossa nova playlist. I have a funk brasilero. I have a salsa and bachata playlist. I have a reggae rock, un latino reggae rock playlist. So I personally love music, and something that really helped me learn Spanish and Portuguese was creating playlists and discovering new artists. For example, artists who sang like reggae in Spanish, rock in Spanish. That was a whole new world for me. So I started creating playlists in my different languages, and it helps me practice my listening. It helps me learn new words. It also, if I'm singing out loud, it also helps me with my speaking. It's something that I genuinely enjoy. So I would recommend you to do your hobbies, the things that you love, the things that you do every day. Do you love to work out? Okay, instead of watching workout videos in Spanish, watch your workout videos in English. Try to find a trainer who will train in English, not in Spanish. So you can do those things, your hobbies that you genuinely love, do them in English so that you're training your brain to feel more comfortable. And also you're associating English with things you love, not with something like, ay, qué pesado. It's how boring, I have to now learn English. No, it's something that you genuinely enjoy doing. Because when you genuinely enjoy the content, you'll want to come back. My next tip for you is to join a community. Like I said, you don't have to do it alone. You can find WhatsApp groups. For example, I have a WhatsApp group where we share motivation, share inspiration every week for our students to keep learning. So I link that down below if you want to join our WhatsApp group to stay motivated and learn with a community. There's also Facebook groups where you can be with people who study English, who learn English. Join a class, but do something so that you're not alone. One of the most beautiful things that I see with my mini groups are how the students support their classmates, and they give each other tips and motivation. They message each other to stay motivated, and that makes studying so much easier, and it makes the process so enjoyable. So find a community. You can join my WhatsApp group down below. You can also join Facebook groups, but find a way to study with the support of others. And my last tip for you guys, accept the bad days. There's gonna be days where you feel like your English sucks. There's gonna be days where you don't want to study. There's gonna be days where you feel like you're failing or like you're not progressing. Accept that those days are part of the process. Not everything can be perfect, but it is important to not fall into the habit every day of saying, today I don't want to study. It's okay to give yourself some space and take a break from studying, but make sure that it's not every day. I don't know, give yourself once a week or 3 days a month to just be lazy and not do anything, not study. But sometimes you do have to find that internal motivation and that dedication to the process to keep going even when you have bad days. Understand it's part of the process. You're not alone. We all go through that. Give yourself space, but try not to make it an everyday thing. So how much did you guys understand? ¿Cuánto consiguieron entender? Cuéntame abajo en los comentarios, y si les gustó este video, vayan a ver este de aquí que estoy segura que les va a gustar. See you next week.